Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be explaining to you guys why I left public accounting and that whole spiel. If you did not see my previous video, I did mention that I ended up leaving my public accounting job at the end of August, and now I work at an advertising company. So I'm going to be explaining that whole thing in this video. But before I get started, I just want to say that I did end up changing the smoke alarm in my apartment. I had someone come and look at it because it was making this chirping noise. I actually didn't know that it was because of the smoke detector that it was making that noise until someone mentioned it in one of the comments in one of my videos. So if you've seen any of my previous videos over the past couple of months, you can probably hear that noise. But now it is all gone because I had someone come and look at it and change it. So I'm really happy about that. But now I'm going to talk about my whole spiel of leaving public accounting. So why I left public accounting. There will be timestamps in the description below. So if you want to skip to whatever part of this video piques your interest, you can do that. But I just wanted to start off with a little bit of a background. When I was in school getting my accounting degree, my school really pushed public accounting on us, and they really pushed the Big Four on us. In one of my classes during my last semester of my senior year of college, my professor said that 70% of accounting students who graduate will end up going into the Big Four or working for the Big Four as their first job. And then 28% of people from that school will work at a public accounting firm that isn't the Big Four. And only 2% of people will go directly into working for a company. So if you don't know, public accounting is really client service. Most people either work in audit or tax. And what happens is you have a bunch of clients. And so if you work in audit, then you're making sure their financial statements are reasonably stated and everything. And it uses a lot of analysis. And then if you work in tax, it's usually just doing tax returns for different clients. And for me, if you saw my video that I made earlier this year about my internships and my jobs, I did mention in that video that I had 2 internships when I was in college. I had an internship in private accounting when I was studying abroad in London, and then I had an internship in public accounting. And for me, I always enjoyed private accounting way better. I interned at Starwood Hotels and Resorts in the finance department. And for me, I don't know why, but private accounting was just something that always was just more me and just more my thing. I did not ever work for the Big Four. I did intern at a small regional public accounting firm, and then my first job out of college was at a public accounting firm that was still big, but it wasn't the Big Four. And a big reason why I ended up even working in public accounting, even though I knew that I didn't really enjoy it, was to get my CPA. I am a licensed CPA. I got licensed this past March, and you do need to get work experience in order to get that license. And I know you can get the work experience requirement fulfilled if you do work at a company, but there are a lot of restrictions and it's actually a lot harder. And so I didn't really want to deal with that. I wanted to go somewhere where I knew that all of my work experience would count towards my CPA experience requirements. And I always kind of knew in the back of my mind that I wasn't going to stay in public accounting for my entire career. I always told myself that I would try it out for 2 or 3 years maximum, and then I would try to leave public accounting and work for a company. And it was actually during Christmas of last year where I went home and I decided that sometime in 2022, I was going to switch jobs and I was going to leave public accounting and go to a company and work at a company. So after I got my CPA license back in March, I was still in busy season. So I finished busy season, and in May, I started applying to different jobs, just whatever role that I could find, either on LinkedIn or Indeed. I would go to the company website and I would send in my resume and just put in an application for the job. And initially I was applying to jobs and looking for jobs on my own, but a recruiter did end up reaching out to me on LinkedIn and she wanted to help me find a job. And I did talk to a couple different recruiters during my whole job searching process. And the recruiter that ended up placing me into the job that I am in now was by far the best recruiter out of all of them that I talked to. I think I talked to 4 total. So there was a recruiter that reached out to me back in April, and at that time I was still in busy season. And if you saw my last video, you know that I did work in audit and I was on the financial services team, which means that all of my clients were financial services. And to be completely honest, I did not like financial services. So I knew that I wanted to stay away from financial services. And then I ended up switching to the renewable energy team in July, and then I ended up putting my 2 weeks notice in August, and I ended up leaving at the end of August. So I really didn't do much work for the renewable energy team. The majority of my experience working in public accounting was for financial services, and I just did not enjoy that industry. And so the first recruiter that reached out to me back in April, most of his clients were financial services, and I pretty much said no thanks to him. And then I had another recruiter reach out to me about some role that was at a social media company, and that was definitely more of what I was interested in. I definitely really liked media companies, entertainment companies, advertising companies, anything like that, or hospitality even. So when he reached out to me, I was really interested in that social media company, but for some reason, he did not end up getting me any interviews. He only put out my resume to 2 companies and neither of them came back with an interview. So that kind of died down. And then I had another recruiter reach out to me, and I did end up interviewing for one company that she sent out my resume to. And I told her what I wanted, what I was looking for, but I feel like she just wasn't really listening to me. She definitely tried to push internal audit on me so hard, and I told her I didn't really want to do internal auditing. I wanted something that was more of an accounting or analysis role, or maybe like a combination of the two. And so I just feel like she just wasn't really listening to what I wanted. She was trying to push something onto me that I really didn't want to do, and so she did not end up placing me. And then I had the last recruiter reach out to me, who was the recruiter that ended up placing me at my job right now. And she really listened to what I wanted. She got me, I think, at least 4 interviews with 4 different companies, which was so great. And something that I didn't know about this job searching process is that if you go through a recruiter, it is so much faster. Like when I was applying on my own, a lot of companies, they wouldn't get back to me with an interview or anything until a month later or a couple weeks later. But going through a recruiter, the company usually gets back to them within that week. So I really recommend that if you are in a time crunch to get a new job, that you should use a recruiter. And the good thing about using a recruiter is that you actually don't have to pay for it, because the company that hires you will pay them a certain percentage of your first year annual salary. So it's a really big benefit because you don't have to pay for it and you're able to get a job a lot faster. And I am so glad that I went through this recruiter and that she ended up placing me, because she was so good. Like, she just listened to what I wanted and she didn't try to push anything on me. She told me that she wanted me to really enjoy my next role. She gave me a lot of good advice about interviewing and all that stuff, and I definitely learned a lot from her. So she was by far the best recruiter that I talked to. And I feel like I've been rambling a lot about recruiters and stuff that you probably don't really care about, but that is basically a timeline of my whole job searching process. So that last recruiter, she reached out to me back in June, and then I had a couple interviews in June and July, and then during that time, I was also applying to different jobs on my own. I was just trying to get as many opportunities as I could. And then I ended up getting a job offer the middle of July from the company that I'm at right now. So I've been at my new job for almost a month and a half, and I'm really, really enjoying this new job. I have to say, I do like it a lot better than my previous job in public accounting, which I forgot to mention that I started that job back in November of 2020 and I left August of 2022. So I was there for almost 2 years. And to be honest, during those almost 2 years that I was there, I did not really enjoy that work. I just think to myself that I'm really happy that I ended up leaving, because for me, that was the right decision. I am so much happier at my current job now. And I actually got a comment on my previous video that said, oh, auditing is so much fun. You get to travel all over and go to all these cool places. You guys have to remember that when you are traveling, well, first of all, I didn't really travel that much for my job when I was an auditor, just because my job was completely remote, and due to the pandemic and everything, I didn't really get to travel that much for work. The only trip that I really went on was an inventory account when I went to Houston, Texas back in July. But I just want to let you guys know that when you are traveling for work, you are working. You are not there for vacation. And a lot of times you don't even have time to explore the city. And traveling all the time for work, it's really, really tiring, and it's also very inconvenient, especially if you have a family. And the long hours in public accounting from January to April is just ridiculous. The minimum at my company, at least, was 55 hours a week. That's basically 10 hours for each workday and then 5 hours over the weekend. And I knew that I would be a lot more happy and I could make a lot more money not in public accounting. And for me, I've always wanted a job where I could have a routine. I didn't really enjoy doing something different all the time. I wanted a job where I would pretty much be doing the same thing every single month or every single quarter. So my new job, I am so happy to be at. I do work at an advertising company in the finance department, and my title is called Senior Financial Reporting Analyst. And I was told that this position would be a hybrid of financial reporting and analysis. And so far, I have to say, my job has mostly been analysis, which I do really enjoy. There's definitely a learning curve, and I definitely did go through a learning curve at this job, but I feel like I'm starting to get the hang of things. I asked a ton of questions whenever I'm unsure about something, because I just want to learn as much as I can, because I do really enjoy what I'm doing now better than what I was doing when I was an auditor. And my job feeling like it's mostly analysis is also a good thing, because I've always been a very analytical person, so I can easily apply those skills to my job. So my day-to-day responsibilities at this new job is pretty much the same every single month, which is something that I really like, because like I said, I like jobs that have more of a routine. And then there's certain things that we have to do every single quarter, so I only have to do those every 3 months. So I am responsible for analyzing revenue and EBIT and looking at if there's any changes from the forecast and the actuals, and if there are big differences, then I have to follow up with the different agencies to ask them why there's a difference and then put in the explanations. I'm also responsible for tracking changes that the agencies say that they will change. I'm also responsible for setting up the monthly forecast and the yearly forecasts and the actuals, monthly actuals, and also preparing some documents and support for our auditors. And I have to say, one of the best things about working for a company, and I don't know, this might just be me, but it's that I don't have to do time entry. If you guys work in public accounting, you know that it is a routine where you have to put in your time every single day. Every time you work on a client, you have to record what you did and how much time you spent. And it just became so tedious that it honestly was just really annoying to always have to track that. And even if you weren't working on a client, then you would still have to track your unbillable and billable hours. And it just became a lot. And so it's really nice working for a company that doesn't have to do that. And once you make that switch, you will understand that. Like, do you guys feel like time entry is just so tedious? Like, let me know in the comments below. I said this in this video already and I'll say it again, but for me, private accounting has just been the right path to take. And honestly, leaving public accounting was the best decision ever. And I know that you do have to work overtime sometimes in private accounting, especially at quarter end and year end, and when you're getting your financial statements audited from the auditors, because you have to provide them support. But there isn't one big chunk of time during the year where you are like super busy like you are in public accounting. I definitely prefer that busy time to be spread out through the year, so then I'm not going crazy during one time of the year, and then during the rest of the time of the year I feel like I have nothing to do. I kind of like it to be more balanced. So I think that is it for this video. I know this video is probably super rambling, it's probably going to be kind of long, but I just want to let you guys know that if you are not happy in your job right now, you be brave and you make a change, because there will be a job out there that suits you and is everything that you're really looking for. And not even just for jobs, I feel like just anything in general. If you're just not happy with something, you be brave and you make that change, because you're the only one that is in control. And so if you don't do anything, nobody else is going to do anything. And for me, I really feel like leaving public accounting was something that I really wanted to do. And it's something that I feel like public accounting just wasn't everything that I wanted in a position. And I feel like life is just too short to be at a job that you don't enjoy. So if you're able to and you want to make that switch because your job right now is not giving you full satisfaction, go out there and do it, and you'll be so happy that you did, because once you are at a job that you really do enjoy, then you are just gonna thank yourself so much and you're just gonna be so much happier. And let's be honest, when you're happy at work, you're just happier overall, because you're working 40 hours a week, you're spending a lot of your time at work. So that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or anything, definitely leave that in the comments down below, and maybe I'll make a part 2 or something to this video. But with that being said, I hope you like and subscribe if you are not subscribed already and you haven't hit the like button already. And I wish you guys all the blessings and happiness, and I will talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.